Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols.
Well, what's cooking, man?
I mean, it's the same old, same old.
Well,
I never know what's for dinner, so I just keep cooking the same stuff.
Yeah, I get bored cooking the same stuff. I always ask Sherry, well, what do you want? I don't know.
I always have to scroll on my phone and find new recipes.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
Yeah. The other day I made, or the other week actually, we're going to have to get him on. He's a friend that has a cooking channel on
on YouTube.
Yeah. And so I made one of his recipes on pigs in a blanket.
Yeah.
Using biscuits and these big sausages. And, well, I think there's a reason why he's got a cooking show and I have a podcast.
Yeah. I like to do a lot of cooking off of what I see on the internet. So, I mean, I'll definitely look more at his channel, but, I'm constantly sitting down and scrolling up a new recipe in between whatever it is that I'm doing, or maybe while I'm doing something like now, right? Scrolling while I'm doing a podcast, right?
Oh, looking for meal
ideas. That, right? Always looking for something.
Well, that's funny that you mentioned that. One of the sites that I like to go to is parents.com.
Okay.
And you talk about scrolling, and they had an interesting article because it relates to something that even the American Psychological Association has come out with.
Right.
Anyway, they're talking about why we should be talking about teaching our children good social media habits.
Right. Like scrolling at midnight?
Yeah, exactly. Staying up till 2 a.m., watching the latest TikToks and, what people are posting on Instagram. Yeah, those kinds of good habits. Anyway.
That might not be what we're talking about.
No. And I think it's important because we had Cameron Gibson on, and we were talking about cell phone usage then. And I'm telling you, I'm fairly confident that the state of Texas is going to ban cell phones in schools starting for next school year. So enjoy it this summer, because come August, we may have a whole new different cell phone policy because of issues related to social media use by kids.
And there's a lot of good reasons for that.
Well, yeah, and I will share with you an interesting statistic that was in this magazine. Now, granted, this is Great Britain, but it's still, I think, valuable. But they were saying that as of 2022, so not that many years ago, 33% of parents of kids ages 5 to 7 said that their kid had at least one social media account. I mean, what the Sam Hill does a 5-year-old need with a social media account?
I mean, I don't know. But they can get on the internet. They can create one.
Well, yeah, but
lie about your age.
But that fits actually more with this next group, because they said kids 8 to 11.
Yeah.
All right. So we're talking what, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade here, maybe even as young as 3rd grade. 60% had their own social media account that they actually own, not created by mom and dad, that they themselves made.
Yeah.
I mean, crying out loud, when I was, now granted, social media wasn't around, but that means these kids aren't playing outside. They're not playing kickball. They're not playing, tag or anything like that. I mean, what are they doing at recess? Are they taking their phones to recess?
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're not talking to each other. And these are little kids.
Yeah.
And I mean, even so far, and this is what I thought interesting, is that the former Surgeon General of the United States was saying that even 13, even though the APA, the American Psychological Association, said that, well, you shouldn't have them until you turn 13, the Surgeon General says that even 13 is still too young for kids to be on social media.
Yeah.
Because
I would agree. I think that age is actually driven by other laws, and that the social media companies want to get them as young as they can, and most laws restrict online use at under 13. And so that's kind of where they fall. I mean, I know there's been lots of moves in other states, Utah, Florida, Texas a couple of years ago in the last legislative session passed a bill called the SCOPE Act that requires parental consent for minors to create a social media account if you're under 18.
Yeah, I remember that.
There's some challenges and things in courts, but I mean, it should be up to the parent.
Yeah,
right? but you have to, just like everything else, educate your kid on how to responsibly use those kinds of things and notice when it's affecting them.
Well,
and it will affect them.
Oh, amen. Amen.
It will affect them, and it will affect them negatively.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're going to want to have, get them to recognize that or make some changes.
Well, because these kids, when they're at this age, they're trying to figure out who the heck they are. And I got to tell you, you and I grew up in a time period where there were no cell phones, there was no internet, there was no social media, and it was tough then trying to figure out who you are and what's your identity and what group do you fit with and, all these other things. I mean, it was tough enough before. I think this makes it a million times even more tough for young people today to go through their teenage years as they try and identify who the heck they are. And so that's, I guess, what drew me to the article.
Sure.
You know me, I'm very much happy with limiting cell phone use for young people. My kids come through my classroom and they go, "Ugh, you're the only one that makes me put my phones away." And it's kind of like, yeah.
It's detrimental to adults too. I mean, so it's not just kids, but it's definitely going to affect kids more.
And that's why, again, I like this article because they're talking about stuff that the APA, again, American Psychological Association, has set out as far as guidelines for we as parents to educate and train our children on, well, good social media, safe social media usage. Not that they're going. It's one of those things, you can't stop them from using it. So instead of trying to stop them, which I understand, teach them how to actually engage smartly. I don't know, is that a good grammar word?
Fine.
Anyway,
fine, yeah.
more appropriately with social media. And so I thought maybe we could explore some of that today. All right. So some of the stuff that they talk about, one, social media, it can be good for kids. Okay. There are positives. And so allowing them to explore, travel the world, all kinds of different ways without leaving home can be very beneficial.
Sure.
All right. But getting them, again, to be safe. And part of that can be with we as parents, we set non-negotiables. If you're going to have an account, boom, set some kind of limits that you can, because, your iPhone tracks how long you're on certain websites, but put limits on your kids, half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, a day, or you can have a total of 5 hours a week.
Right.
Or whatever it might be. But, you start putting some limits, privacy settings on these accounts. A lot of my kids, as we've talked about different stuff, their parents, part of their non-negotiable was, I have to be able to see, who you're watching. I've got to be connected to who you're talking to.
And there's ways around that too, right? So you gotta know that if you set that up with your kid, they're probably finding a way to get around it or already found one.
True.
So, that makes it all the more important to teach them what is the right way to use it.
Well, exactly. And again, putting age-appropriate guidelines. What you do for your 13-year-old might be a lot different than what you do for your 18-year-old.
Well, and I think that the older that they get, right, the more you can get to a reflective practice of, well, how did that video make you feel?
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't make you feel good, stop looking at those videos, right? So your algorithm, adjusts what you see. Look at something better.
Well, exactly, because social media by its very nature is not designed to be either, well, to use a quote from the APA president, Dr. Bryant, social media is neither inherently harmful nor beneficial.
Sure.
It just is. So how we engage with it is
it's the same as back in our time, right? A newspaper, a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that now with all the entertainment news. Like it's what you do with it. It's how you think about it. It's what it makes you feel that tells you, should I look at that or not? Right? If you get anxious when you watch a TV show, probably shouldn't watch that show anymore. Right? I mean, it's just, those are real things. Now, I've had some experiences with students, right? Like, they'll tell me, or even my daughter, right? She got off social media. I've had young people tell me that they took it off their phones and they only look at it on a computer at home now. Those kinds of things where they're trying to limit themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And these are, of course, older kids, but those are important, right? I mean, I even tell kids in my classroom, if your phone is near you, it is distracting you.
Yes.
Right. And there's 2 studies that I found on this to support that, which I, shared some things with them about, but one of them is from like 2014 and the other's from 2019. I mean, one of them says that just the proximity of your phone to you reduces, it's a brain drain on you.
Mm-hmm.
It actually reduces your cognitive abilities just because it's near you, because you think about it.
Yeah.
And so imagine a kid who's, spending time scrolling constantly, what that's doing to their cognitive abilities and their emotional states.
Well, and that's what part of, again, this article talks about, that one of the things we as parents need to be doing is having these kinds of conversations with our kids at the early age, because most of the time, these parents aren't telling their children about social media.
Right.
They're learning it from their friends, from their peers, or maybe older siblings. They're not necessarily learning it from the right people. And so we as parents need to have this conversation with our kids about, one, the harms as well as the benefits. I mean, as parents, my sister-in-law, she made sure that her kids are physically safe.
Right.
From, and as they were growing up, protected them, the same kinds of things that parents normally traditionally do.
Yeah.
But she never explored their online presence.
Yeah.
And I feel that their online presence is way more harmful potentially than their physical safety of playing in the neighborhood, staying in between this house and that house, the old, the stuff like we did. And so I thought this was a great way. Start talking early with our children about what social media is and both the positives and the negatives.
I think it's important because, if you're ignoring it, that's an issue, right? Because if your kid, I guarantee, right, like most people, if your kid was involved in a poor relationship that was causing them emotional harm, you would want to do something about that. You would want to help them get out of that relationship. If your kid was drinking or using drugs that was mind altering and, changes their emotions and their states, you would want to get them help. And yet our kids go into their bedroom with their phone and spend hours looking at these things. And we just watch TV in another room.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's happening. We're not engaging with them anymore. They've just gone to their rooms and they don't talk to you. They don't do that. Those are signs that like something's wrong. Right. And so we should be pulling that back and trying to teach them, how is this going to affect your life?
And that's where they suggest the 3 S's.
Oh, I love the 3 S's.
Really?
I don't know. I'm sure I am confident that I'm going to love the 3 S's.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I thought you knew more than some I didn't know yet. All right. Anyway, one was healthy socialization. So socialization.
Okay. Socialization.
2, self-regulation, or in this case, effective self-regulation.
I love that one.
And 3, safety. overall safety.
Yeah.
And when we're talking to our kids about usage of social media, keep these in mind.
Yeah.
And because I think, and again, you and I having worked with teenagers for a very long time, watching them evolve over time with more and more social media usage, some can do just fine.
Yeah.
And some cannot. And so the biggest one, I argue, is that effective self-regulation. And that's where I really find problems in my classroom, is that the kids cannot effectively self-regulate them, their phone, put the dang thing away. If they've got a spare 60 seconds, they're pulling that sucker out
because they're distracted by it.
And
which is the impetus behind the law to ban cell phones from schools for students, because you are literally distracted by it, and it is affecting your cognitive abilities during that time. Colleges, a lot of them, their policy will be put your phone upside down on your desk.
Yes.
Do you know that is the worst thing for brain drain?
Really?
That having it that close and within eyesight, that's bad, right? So I tell my students, get it off your desk, off your person, and at least into a bag.
Yeah, put it in your backpack.
Put it away somewhere.
Yeah.
The best place is in another room.
Well, true.
Because you lose focus on it because it's so far away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important, right? But being in your bag is better. But I love your self-regulation, and I think that's important. But I want to add another S.
Okay.
And so, because I think self-regulation is good, but if you don't recognize that you have a problem, then there's no self-regulation, right?
True.
I mean, people who are alcoholics, it's like, I just don't, I don't recognize that I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I just go ahead and keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
Somebody else recognizes it and they can tell me all they want. I'm still going to be like, no, I'm fine. I can stop anytime I want.
Yeah.
Right. I just obviously never want to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how it is, right? So,
okay.
And the same can be with a phone. It's an addiction.
It is.
Right? Just like every other addiction that might be out there, good or bad.
Right.
Some addictions can be good.
Sure.
So those things, I go back to something that I love, and that is self-reflection.
Okay.
If you can get your student, your kid, your relative, your friend, your partner, whoever it is, to reflect on how is that making you feel? How is it affecting your life?
Okay.
Is it a positive thing or a negative thing? And then I think that can lead back to, I need to regulate.
Okay.
But if you don't recognize that there's an issue, why would you regulate it?
Valid point. Well, and that ties in then, with something else. They're talking about setting time limits. I am a firm believer of setting time limits. I've talked to a variety of parents who've done different things, some who have done nothing, and their kids are 2-3 o'clock in the morning. They're on social media.
Sure.
And then they can't get up in the morning, and they can't make it to school, and school's the equivalent of going to work. And so I am a firm believer of setting time limits.
Yeah.
And the younger they are, the less time they get. The other thing that they push is good social media etiquette.
Yeah.
And when you're talking, and this is what they're saying.
I feel like nobody has this.
Oh, gosh, no. No. You read some of the comments that people have on, these threads, whether it's on social, like on Facebook, or even just a news article. And, because people can make comments, well, then they're just, it irritates me to no end.
The thing is that people feel like out there I can say whatever I want. I can be whoever I want.
Well, I can be.
So maybe
bigger.
I'm very quiet and reserved and shy, but out there I can be brash, right? In your face, mean, right? I can make that expression. And so you often get the worst of people on social media.
And so that's why they're saying engage in, have polite or friendly, have dialogue, sure, but use appropriate terms and regulation, or not regulation, but terms and the wording that you use. And I did not know this. And I don't know how many other social media platforms, but Instagram in their resource guide will allow you to filter out for your child inappropriate or offensive words.
Yeah.
from the comments.
Yeah, they do have that.
And so I thought that was really good. But I think if we could, teach our children proper social engagement, well, maybe that will trickle into when they
Sure.
become older adults and, they'll be less likely to be a squirrel. But the other thing is teaching accountability.
Mm.
And according to the CDC, now this was a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay. According to the CDC, 16% of surveyed high school students said they were electronically bullied at least once in the previous 12 months.
Sure.
And if you are, how shall we sell this? One of the fringe people in a school environment, that number goes up. And if you are part of, then here they say specifically a female, that goes up by double.
Yeah.
And if you are LGBTQ plus, that number goes way up. And so again, the idea is as parents being aware that this is going to happen and trying to help educate your children that, hey, if you're getting this, come and see me.
Yeah.
All right. I'd like to be aware of this because a lot of times schools are not aware of what's going on outside of the school, which is fine because, if it's outside of school, it's outside of their purview.
Sure.
But what goes on outside of school also influences what goes on in school.
Well, and if it does influence that, then they can do something about it.
But if they don't know, they can't help.
Right.
And because here's the thing, I got bullied when I was school.
Sure.
I was a tall,
So did
geeky, unathletic nerd. And
So you were just like me.
Yeah,
Except
maybe
taller
and skinnier, and about as athletic as not possible. And I got picked on, but I only got picked on at certain points of the day by certain kids.
Sure.
And as long as I could avoid those kids or avoid a certain place after school on my walk home, I would be just fine.
Yeah.
But if you're with the cyberbullying, it's 24/7, 365. It's weekends. It's after school.
Well, the problem with cyberbullying is that in our day, right back in the early '80s, you got bullied. It happened in an event at a place at a time, and it was over. Right, like that event ended. Nobody filmed it. Nobody shared it. They might have talked about it. But then at that point, it's just talk, right? Like eventually they'll stop talking about it. They'll do another thing. But nowadays, it doesn't ever go away. You're filmed. It goes on social media. People laugh at it. Millions of people all over the world laughing at you. It's a horrible experience, right? And it's far worse than what we dealt with.
Oh, yes.
So that's a big deal. And I was looking up to try to find out like how much of your life is recorded. Like video filmed,
okay,
recorded, and it actually, the results I get back say that it's hard to know, but it's likely that you are filmed every single day.
Really? Well,
every day.
Okay, if you throw in security cameras
or some camera somewhere, and it's out there, and so you are filmed all the time. Somewhere at some point in your day, and people can do it, right? You could be walking down the street and somebody's filming something, and you end up in their film, and it goes on. You can't do anything about it.
No.
So there's issues like that where especially with kids. Everybody's got a camera. Back in our day, we didn't have cameras.
Oh gosh,
no! Like, you had to carry around a Polaroid. That thing was huge.
Yes,
and you had to have that huge light stack that you burned through the bulbs, but that wasn't a thing. We joke about it online with memes that, there was this thing that happened to me in 1985, and I'm just telling you about it now because we didn't have social media back then. And there is no video.
No. So, in many cases for me, thank God.
A lot of times you just didn't talk about the thing that you did, and nobody ever knows.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not the case anymore. Everything you do could potentially be recorded and posted without your knowledge. And that happens to students.
And I think that's why I like this part about helping teach our children accountability. We can't control other people or what other people do.
Right.
We can only control how we respond. And so if our response is to help teach our children how not to be, contributors to this. Be mindful in what you put out there. And, again, it's part of those manners. We teach our children, be polite, say yes or no, ma'am. Open doors, just all the kinds of polite, friendly things.
Also, you want to be careful about who you're around when recording is taking place, right?
Well, true.
They may be trying to record you to make fun of you.
And that's part of this whole etiquette thing that I think if we can make it's something that we as adults, we did not experience per se when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And so it's not part of necessarily what we consider when we're raising our children. And so if we can, the more aware we can be, then maybe we can help train our children, raise them to be a little more appropriate. Again, time limits, accountability, being, appropriate, using, again, good etiquette.
I think one of the things about that good etiquette is, once you post something, you've lost control of it.
Yes.
It is out there forever.
And you can't get it back.
And you there's no way for you to control it, right? Somebody can copy it and repost it and do all the things, and it's not going away.
And I'm learning.
And even if you delete it from your account, they're not deleting it from their servers.
No.
So it's out there now.
And I am learning more and more that colleges and universities will look at a kid's social media profile.
Absolutely.
They will look at, even certain employers will be monitoring your online presence and behaviors, and you can be denied jobs or admission into college or universities. And I think that
certainly in the private sector, right? So there are some protections for First Amendment in the public sector, but private companies don't have to follow that. We teach that.
Yeah, and I think that is why it's important for us as parents, us as adults, to be more aware of what, teaching our children more appropriate use. And so, again, we can't stop what other parents do or don't do for their kids, but we can be responsible for our own children. And if we can help teach them and educate them on correct ways to engage with it, then maybe they will grow up in this digital world, better prepared.
Right.
But I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
No, I was just going to say, we talk about all this and there's cyberbullying and it seems like there's nothing you can do about it. But if it is happening, there are legal protections.
Oh, yes.
For that. But, there is a legal avenue for that and you should contact authorities and do all that.
Yes.
Or your school administrators or somebody.
Yes.
But just know that you're losing control at that point. It's going to be difficult.
Yes.
And maybe even costly.
Well, especially for the perpetrators of the online bullying.
That's true too, right?
So, but here's the thing that I like best about this entire article.
Yeah.
It says that we as adults, we as parents, need to practice what we preach. Lead from the front and lead by example.
I can't just sit on my couch and scroll all day long while my kid sits next to me. Come on, man.
You can, but if you want your children to do and follow your directions, you got to demonstrate good behavior.
Even when my time limit pops up, I got to stop.
Yeah. If you want your children to stop, if you want, your children to have good online etiquette, then you need to have good online etiquette.
So I think there's a lot of good reasons to do that, right? There are definitely, even for adults, this is all very good, right? So, I read a couple of books last year about this very topic, and I'm sure that I will read more. And I've read articles now of studies, but The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt and Stolen Focus by Johan Hari. Those are very good books about what phones, social media, all that stuff is doing to us. And I know we've talked about it in previous episodes. I just wanted to mention the books again, but as adults, we should definitely look at and reflect on, have that self-reflection. How is this affecting? If you find yourself sitting down on the couch with other people in the room and for 30 minutes you're scrolling, put it down, man. Look at the other people in the room and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right. If you're at the restaurant, like I see so often, and you're scrolling at the table, like, why did you go to a restaurant with people and pay more money for food than you could have done at home and done the same thing? Like, what's happening here? So, you just enjoy life that's out in front of you. I go to Disney World a couple of times a year, or some Disney park somewhere, at some point, a couple of times a year, and I see people walking around with an iPad in front of their face. Like, you could just watch somebody else's video.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what's happening here? Why are you living through this? I mean, if you're making money, I guess, whatever, but, live life. We used to do that in the 80s, right? You just went out and lived life, and you got the scrapes and you got the cuts and you did all the things, and half the time you didn't talk about it ever again. Right?
No.
Until you were 45.
Then you get on a podcast and away we go.
But, it's like you just want to wake up, right? SNL did a thing back in the early 2000s when these phones started, right? I guess it was 2007, 8, 9, somewhere in there. They did a thing because it was when smartphones were new.
Yes.
People were looking at social media and they were walking down the street, right? And they'd walk right off and almost get hit by a car, right? Because they're looking at their phone, not paying attention. And they had this, they did a spoof of a new app, and the app was called Look Up. Right. And you would be walking down the street and you'd come to, a point where you're going to walk into traffic, and the app would scream at you, look up, right? Because you were looking down. I mean, we get so involved with this, we don't even know what's going on around us.
Exactly. And that's why I like this most of all. And I saved it for last. We are the adults. We set the standards. We also set the examples. Right. And so if we want our kids to do these things, then we need to demonstrate through our own actions, model what we want our kids to do.
Yeah.
And
get them to engage with you without their phone.
Well, and I'm trying a little more with my nieces and nephews when they come over. Well, we're going to play some games. And when they've come over here recently, not for the whole time, but we'll play some Uno or we'll play some card games. Just, half hour, 45 minutes. Just put that silly thing down. And, it's actually good for me, too, because odds are I'm busy working on my computer or doing some other stuff, and it gets me engaged, too. So
we try to do a game night with our family once a month, and, we probably buy 12 new games a year.
Okay.
And try out new games, and it's great. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, put the phones down.
Yes.
And live some life.
Amen. Anyway, that's what I got, and I thought it was good information.
I love it.
Put out again by Parents Magazine online, but it's just things that we are taking for granted. So
I love it. It's all such really good stuff, right? We all need to learn good habits, but if the kids can learn it early, boy, they'll have a much better time in life.
Amen. Well, I guess that'll do it for this time. So until next time, I'm Rod.
I'm Scott.
See ya.
Bye-bye.